Welcome to the Adventures Beyond the Horizon. This is where we delve into the essence of overlanding, the art of navigating uncharted paths, and the stories forged on the roads less traveled.
I'm Jonathan, and joining me is my co-host Anthony. Together, we'll explore the profound experiences of our journeys, the intricacies of vehicle modifications, and the challenges and triumphs of off-road adventure.
Each episode, we'll share insights of our recent travels, and as well as uncover the deeper connections and transformative moments found in the world of overlanding. Subscribe to stay with us on this journey.
Hello, and welcome in. My name is Jonathan. I'll go by
My
John.
name's Anthony.
And we're starting this podcast called Adventures Beyond the Horizon. We are getting into it because we just recently got into the world of overlanding. Everything that comes with overlanding in general, the views, the camaraderie, and the trips, the journey along the way. And I drive a 2022 Ford Maverick, Anthony, and you drive
A 2019 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison.
we want to try to figure out this world of podcasting. We don't know much about it, so we're just going along learning about it. Do you have any thoughts about that?
This should be very interesting since we tend to mess up a lot, so let's get rolling,
Yep. We'll get into that relatively quickly. I am sorry for all of the uhs and ums already. He and I were probably going to start off by saying a whole bunch of those. So getting into the formatting and frequency of podcasting, we want to try to release an episode a week. For the first couple weeks, I don't know how feasible that is.
Oh, we never started the timer.
There's a timer at the very bottom. Do you not see it?
Oh, there is.
Yep. That's pretty cool. I think I'm just going to go ahead and start moving on to the big stuff already because I thought this was going to take a bit longer. Um,
We just
so,
don't know what to talk about.
yeah, and I thought getting everything out of the way for the first time would be fine. But I
Do
guess.
you want me to lead this episode?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to move on and who we are and what we drive and the modifications we currently have on them. I currently said I drive a 2022 Ford Maverick. I have the off-roading package, the FX4 package on it, and it comes with everything stock. It's got the skid plates, the computer modes for the different off-roading capabilities it has. I've got sand, mud, and ruts. I have the tow haul package as well, so that's one of the modes on there. I think I have a couple of different other ones that I don't really use. I have a slippery one that I'll use in the winter. So
And you can use those different modes in different situations. It just depends on the way the traction control works. I mean, because like if you do slippery, you could do maybe it's like wet rock, or you could do for like. So each mode does different things to your vehicle. So say you want sand, it just allows more wheel spin whenever you go through maybe or it's like sand, or maybe you want to try to spin your wheels more during the snow. It just depends on the type of traction level you want. So it doesn't necessarily depend on the terrain, but those settings are recommended for those terrains. Essentially, is what it comes down to.
yep. And a year later, they came out with a better package for the Ford Mavericks. It's called the Tremor package.
Good old Tremor.
Oh yeah, it gives it a 2-inch lift as well as the front bumper has a better approach angle because it pretty much raises the bumper up.
Doesn't it also get rid of the air dam?
You're gonna have to explain what an air dam is.
So essentially, what the air dam is, it's essentially a piece of plastic that hangs down, and it improves your aerodynamics and fuel economy with the truck. But when you don't have an air dam, it actually raises up the clearance. So it would make your essentially your approach angle a little better than it would be with the air dam because the air dam hangs lower to the ground. Now, if you don't have the air dam, of course, your fuel economy is not going to be as good. But because car manufacturers have to meet a certain criteria for the EPA, they have to put those kind of things unless it's like a specialty vehicle, like the trimmer, essentially. So that's essentially what an air dam is.
Nice. Look at that. I learn something new every day.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's currently what I drive. What about you, Anthony?
I drive a good old fashioned 2019 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison. Um, so essentially, what I got is I got a completely metal front and rear bumpers, boron steel. It comes with full underbody protection. You got the protection for the engine, the radiator, the transmission, the transfer case, the fuel tank, and I think the drive line sits a little bit higher. I think. And then you have a winch, a Warren winch that comes with the truck from the factory. It also comes with a different hood. It comes with a 2-inch lift over the stock Colorado, but that's just part of the ZR2 package. Um, Now the Bison is the one that adds all the armor. None of it comes with the air dam, at least the
No.
ZR2 versions. Um, and then the transmission is the same. The engine's the same. Now I don't get drive modes, but I do get an off-road mode, which changes the transmission mapping a little bit and allows you to open up settings a little more. So, say with my lockers, if I wanted to like use them at any speed I wanted to, well, the rear locker at least, I have to put in off-road mode, then I can get unlimited speed out of the rear locker. Now, if I didn't have off-road mode on, I think it limits it to like 25 miles per hour, and then it turns off the locker automatically. It's just to prevent damage, especially if you're on like pavement. You're not supposed to have a locker on. It also comes with a front locker, but you have to be in four load for that, and that's for more extreme situations, which I very rarely use my front locker, anyways. Um, but yeah, that's about it. I used to have a 2015 Chevy Colorado, and that thing, I love that truck, and that's one of the reasons why I got another Colorado. But it definitely had its issues, that's for sure.
Well, we didn't really talk about like what's really underneath the hood, did we? I think you might have possibly covered it.
Yeah, I mean, all I said was it had the same engine, which the engine's 3.6 liter V6, puts out about, I think, 306 horsepower and 275 pound feet of torque, from what I can remember.
Yeah, I think so. And I have a 2.6 liter, 4 liter, correction, 4 cylinder EcoBoost engine. It's the Ford small one. I get great gas mileage. However, I think I only have about 250 horsepower,
Don't
and
forget about that turbo, though. That turbo gives it a little oomph.
it's the yeah. It gives me the 250 just because of the way the truck is tuned, and about 277 pounds foot of torque. Um,
It's not bad.
it's not bad at all. I don't do too much too difficult of terrains. When people talk about overlanding, they could mean like, oh, I'm gonna take a Toyota 4Runner. I'm gonna soup it to high heavens and back, and they're gonna 4-inch lift kit, big old beefy tires, and they're gonna soup it up, maybe a rooftop 10, and it's the ones that you see and you're like, oh yeah, I want that kind of rig.
Yeah, I
But
mean, yours isn't yours is for your specific use case though, because yours isn't gonna be a rock crawler. It's not
yeah,
that
not
kind
at
of
all.
vehicle. Um, yours is more of like the long distance travel with the great gas mileage, and you can do all the stuff that you can modify it, like put a tent on it, put a rack on it. If if they come out with the aftermarket support, put a different bumper on it, but you can at least put a lift on it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and I'm definitely gonna put a lift on it. I don't know when I'll be able to do that. Gonna have to convince the old wife to let me put one on. Uh, the actual kit itself is about $800 that I saw. It's the Rough Country two
Jeez.
inch lift kit. You can hear the kitty, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, is Rough Country the only company that came out with the lift kit? Does Ford not sell one?
No, I actually think on the Tremor packages, it's the Rough Country lift kit for the Mavericks. Like I don't,
Really?
yeah, they haven't. Everybody does like leveling kits, but I
Yeah.
think Rough Country is the only one that does a lift kit.
Hmm. I'm sure that's going to change eventually.
Oh yeah. Last time I had looked, it had been about a year and a half ago though. So just doing a quick Google search, and it looks like there's a new company that deals a lot with Mavericks and the new Ford Broncos and all of the new cars that have recently come out. And it looks like it might have some. However, it could be just rebranded Rough Country.
I highly doubt it because I mean, if there's an opportunity for competition, someone's going to be out there to do it.
Oh yeah,
Um, like I mean, like with the Colorados, you have so many different companies that make bumpers and lift kits and suspension kits and just different things like that. If there is a market, there's going to be people to fill it. That's the
oh
big
yeah.
part.
Looking at it, there's a Ford Maverick metal wall art. However, it looks like it's got a 6 inch lift kit on it. It's not feasible with the way the transmission is with the suspension.
I saw a Maverick whenever you were here, and it had to have had like a 4 or 5 inch lift kit on it. Like it was riding almost at my height.
There's no shot that it has that. The way the suspensions are, it cannot support more than 2 inches. However,
Now they could have had a fully custom suspension though too.
that's unlikely. If anybody is getting a Maverick to do that, I, I would never spend that much money on a Ford Maverick to make it a souped up truck like that.
I
Because
mean, I'm telling you, I saw it.
well, what you could have seen is a 2 inch lift kit with a lot bigger wheels, which would give it that 4 to 6 inch more clearance.
True, that is true.
Because
That thing looked pretty badass though. I will
oh
say
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't know,
Uh,
man. I keep telling you, you should get a Ranger.
no, no, the gas
You,
mileage is I like it too much, and I've put too many scratches in this car. Uh, the
you know
truck,
how many scratches I put on my car, and they still took that thing.
oh yeah. Did they even say anything about all the scratches on yours?
No, because it's easy. Most of the scratches you can just wax it off essentially. So they move the clear coat around, and it fills those scratch gaps. Unless it's like a deep bare metal scratch, then you'll have to repaint it. But some dealerships are willing to do that.
Hmm. I know Ford Mavericks last year in 2022 when they first came out, they were a big hot commodity. And the company was like, "Oh yeah, we would probably buy this from you for $45,000 right now." I'm like,
Shoot, you have made money off that thing.
yeah, like not even buying it, I would have made money off of it. I
I
know.
mean, people are looking for those eco-friendly smaller trucks because I mean, for those people who don't really need a like a truck to haul things around, but when they need it, like those little times where maybe you need to get branches or you need to take some gravel somewhere, those kind of people will take that kind of truck just because it's economical, it's little, it's easy to have, it's relatively cheap. I mean, you could probably still get some good money for it,
Oh yeah,
maybe
for
even
sure.
now.
Yeah, I actually had a buddy borrow the truck while I was underway. He needed to haul dirt, and that was basically all he needed the truck for. And he didn't want to go out and buy a trailer or something. He was just like, "I'll just use a truck."
Exactly. I'm secretly trying to get him to buy a Ranger.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Maybe one day, whenever you get serious about it,
I don't know.
you're gonna have to, because at some point you're gonna run out of space. That's the big problem. Is you're gonna run out of space very quickly because it's just a smaller truck. That's that's essentially what's gonna happen
I understand it's a smaller truck, but I don't need a whole lot.
right now. Right now, you don't need a whole lot.
Well, yeah, here's a 2019 Ford Ranger Lariat. It's about $31,000. Uh,
It's cheaper than what I bought my truck,
yeah,
but
but
then my truck is the top of the line.
yeah, I don't think this has anything other than the luxury package on it,
It's not the FX4 package,
though. It didn't look like it.
because that will give you the rear locker and I think the little bit of a lift.
Yes, I believe so as well. I haven't looked into it at all, so
Might be the time.
probably not. We'll see what happens.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it's
so
fine.
so Anthony, how did you get into overlanding and off-roading?
Um, well, I think I stumbled upon videos on YouTube. You know, the usual thing where people are going way off the grid, tackling all these uh, tough obstacles, camping, just in the middle of nowhere. And even before that, I would see like these extreme off-roading vehicles on YouTube of like these Russian guys with these big vehicles going through this deep mud, and I used to get really into that when I was younger. And then I found guys like in Colorado who were doing this kind of stuff and going over big boulders and stuff like that. And then that led me into overlanding, which is the camping side of things. And ever since then, I just kind of fell in love with it. I mean, my dad bought his Forerunner, and then I bought my first truck, the 2015 Colorado, and we would go to Georgia and just kind of hit these trails randomly. And ever since then, I mean, we were able to have quality time together, and I just loved it after that. Kind of got the that what do they call it? The overland bug, and ever since then, I just fell in love with it and just went full send into it. Essentially, I moved
Yeah,
to Colorado after that just to get closer to the mountains, to get closer to those bigger trails, and that's where I'm at now.
yeah. So you said you were did some things in Georgia and some things in Colorado. So from my understanding, you started in like the Georgia area and then moved to Colorado and just grew from there, right?
Yeah, so when I was back in South Carolina, I had my truck, and there were these back roads, just gravel back roads in South Carolina, probably like 45 minutes away from my house. And every weekend I would go up there and just hit these random back roads that were labeled on the off road app that I had. Onyx Off Road, by the way. And not
Not
sponsored.
sponsored.
And I would just spend hours just exploring back there and seeing what I could find. Like one time I came out of this trail and I found this random building that was shaped like a spaceship, painted like a spaceship, just in the middle of the woods, like just falling apart. And I thought that was the weirdest thing. but ever since then, I was like, what else can I find out here? And I found like a random graveyard, um, just different little things like that. It's just the spirit of exploring and finding new things that you never thought would be out there. That's what really got me. And ever since then, I mean, like my dad and I would go to Georgia because you had the Georgia mountains. We would go up there and try some little bit of the technical trails. Did a river crossing that probably shouldn't have done in my truck, which came up right up to the bow tie on my hood.
Uh-oh.
So that was a little scary.
But it seemed like it
And
survived. You survived.
yeah, no water got into the air intake and to the engine as well. So that's that was good. Took a big risk on that. But yeah, no, I just from there I did trails with my dad and hit the back roads when I was back at home when I had time, and then I watched some more videos about people in Colorado doing this stuff, and I was like, I've been to Colorado, pretty nice state, and there's good trails out there. Might as well move.
Yep.
So I moved out here to get to the higher elevation trails, and that's where I'm going now. That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah. My adventuring kind of started a bit younger, like the bug. I would always go out with my dad to go camping, just like car camping, basically. We'd go out to campgrounds mostly. As a kid, my grandparents would always take us to campsites, glamping, if you will, in campers. I know. Ooh,
Campers, you fancy person.
it wasn't me. It was my grandparents. My mom would also go, and we would sometimes bring a tent, and we would sleep in the tent. That wasn't always the case. The kids always got to go sleep with grandparents, and they still do that to this day. They go out often during the
They still
summer
take
times.
their. Is it still the same RV that they had back when you had a kid, or they get a new one since then?
No, they upgrade. They upgrade all the time. Like, oh,
Mm.
what can we get now? And I don't know what they currently have, but I think when I was a kid, they used to have a Westphalia. I think that's what it was.
Would you say you've always been kind of like an outdoorsy person, or would you like, oh, I have to be at a certain comfort level for me to get out there? Like, would you go hiking a lot, or
Oh yeah, hiking all the time. Hiking, skiing. We did that up in New Hampshire. And my dad, he loved to go hiking, and with the schools, we would have hiking trips as well. So I remember one year we went out to Elephant Head. I think that's what it's called. It's one of the trails in New Hampshire. It's in the Notch. That's what we call it. I can't remember the exact term.
I've heard New Hampshire has some pretty good views out there too.
Oh yeah, really great views, and it's marvelous, especially during the fall. I would recommend going up there during the fall. However, don't drive slow. Everybody who
I
drives
don't
slow
think
during the
anybody would
fall.
let you drive slow.
Oh no, no, people fucking. Oh shit. People drive slow all the time. It's really annoying.
Really?
Yeah.
I think everywhere else, everybody just drives fast or tries to run you off the road.
Well, it's single lane highways in a lot of places because
What?
you're going through the mountains and it's single lane highway sometimes.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like if one person goes slow, and now everybody has to go slow because of the whole like oh my gosh, there's leaves. These leaves are brown, they're orange, they're yellow. They're like very vibrant colors.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had that
Side question. How's the pollen out there, by the way,
in New Hampshire.
in New Hampshire? Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while. I don't remember. It's not as bad as South Carolina though. It was a shock moving from New Hampshire to South Carolina when the
Yeah,
summer
you get
hits and
pollen
just
all over your car.
if
Like
you let
you're
that
essentially, if you had a white car, you'd have a yellow car by the end of it.
oh yeah in a day instant yellow car.
Yeah, in a day.
Uh, I don't think it was that bad. Like it was definitely in the air, but I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I have another question for you then. What does overlanding mean to you? Like, what is your definition of overlanding?
oh, but I haven't completed my story yet. You gotta wait to the end. I was
I'm
almost done.
sorry.
Relax, relax. So Uh, I did that as a kid, bunch of adventuring with the family, and then eventually I joined the military, move out here to Washington, and I'm looking to get a truck. I want to do outdoorsy stuff here, and I know off-roading is a big thing. So I was looking into a truck, and I believe you were the one who said, "Hey, I just saw this cool ad for this Ford Maverick," and
Mm-hmm.
I watched it, and I was like, "This thing looks really cool, and I need a really good gas-efficient car that I can also take overlanding." And it happened to just work out perfectly.
But
Excuse me.
how did you hear about overlanding though?
I just started going camping in my car, and I I don't know if we had talked about it. I think I had mentioned like over text you like, hey, have you heard of overlanding? Because you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go camping this weekend. I'm like, oh well, do you know this cool thing called overlanding? Uh, and I think I had just stumbled across it on the internet too. Just some I internet video that was like, oh yeah, I'm going overlanding. I'm like, oh, what's that? And just
Yeah.
from there. So yeah,
Yes,
that's the
the simple of finding YouTube videos giving you inspiration and trying to do the same thing they're doing. That's the formula, I guess, for everybody.
influencers. Am I right? Couldn't
Yeah,
be us.
influencers. Yeah.
All right. So now back to your question. Circling back, you were saying,
Okay.
what does overland mean
What
to
is
me?
your what is your definition of overlanding? Like, what does it mean to you?
So, in my words, I believe that overlanding is where you're going off-road camping, pretty much, where you can go to national parks, state forests, state parks, whatever, somewhere where it's not illegal to go with a vehicle. So anywhere that there's a trail that, or maybe not a trail, but a place wide enough to take your car and just go and adventure,
Very
see
true.
new
Very
sights,
true.
see the horizon, if you will, possibly beyond.
Nice plug there, sir.
Oh yeah. Well,
Well,
what about you? What does it mean to you?
uh, so my definition would be essentially adventure travel. So take your car, like you said, take your car on trails, camping, um, and just it's all about the journey, not the destination. So you could go to uh, like uh, Colorado, for example. So you start off from Denver, you go to some mountain town, but you take these back roads or you take these dirt roads up there and you camp along the way. That's essentially overlanding. It doesn't have to be um, days. It could be like a weekend, or it could be um, it's off road with camping infused together. Essentially,
Yeah, pretty
that's
much.
my definition. So let's see. What is the official definition of overlanding?
I don't know. It's a good thing we've got Google right here. All right, the dictionary of definition from Oxford Languages. Overland. It's a verb, British. Travel a long distance over land. So, like, pretty much what the pioneers were doing. They would dock on one side and travel west, and they would just camp over land, travel a long distance over land.
Okay, so here's the ChatGPT definition. Overlanding is a form of self reliant long distance travel where the journey itself is the prime goal. Rather than just reaching a destination, it typically involves off road vehicles equipped with extended trips, allowing travelers to explore remote areas that often are far from civilization. Overlanding combines elements of off roading, camping, exploration with a strong emphasis on being self sufficient, which is the modern day definition, I guess.
Well, that's the AI definition, but pretty much
AI definition modern.
what most people agree upon. It's a self sufficient overland journey.
Yes.
So yeah, uh, we've never really talked about an outro or anything like that. Hold
No,
on,
we
give me one
didn't.
second. I'll be right back. Hold on. Pause. I gotta let the puppy out. All right. So what were you about to say?
Oh, I was just gonna try out an outro if you would like me to.
Oh yeah, go for it.
All right, everybody. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast, and if you want to give us some advice or improvement things, just send us a comment in our comment area, and we will see you on the next episode. This has been Anthony,
And John.
and we'll see you next time on the trail. See you later.